Yes, like I told you, we'll be focusing our lights on grassroots development. We want to see how to partner communities, how this agenda to build Anambra into a livable and prosperous homeland can be achieved right from the community levels. And to discuss that with me this morning is the Mayor of Nnewi South local government area, Mr. Ikenna Aniagbos. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
All right, let's begin this way. What has the work been like implementing the solution agenda at Nnewi South?
Well, it has been exciting. It has been tough. It has been rewarding. Altogether, it has been a wonderful experience. Representing the governor in Nnewi South to bring his solution agenda to the people and to cascade all his ideas and plans to the grassroots. Okay, it's been exciting and wonderful.
So what has been your policy thrust? What has been your design in implementing some of these ideas in Nnewi?
Well, the governor did not waste time in telling the Anambra that his intention is to make this place livable and prosperous. And then he outlined areas where he wants to work. He said his agenda is to make this place a place where we can live, work, learn, invest, and relax happily. Therefore, the concentration is to build up, to develop, right from the grassroots to the top. So far, we have seen the things that the governor has been able to achieve. 261 kilometers of road already awarded, and contractors mobilized to site to 30 to 50%. We are seeing roads commissioned already. In fact, one in Nnewi South, the Afilo Nzazobolo Road to Opo, was commissioned recently. So the governor is doing this job from the grassroots, bringing dividends of good governance to the people, ensuring that the promises he made to the Anambra are fulfilled, to bring development to them, to make this place truly livable and prosperous.
All right. Looking at the thrust of our discussion this morning, partnering communities, and which is what you've emphasized, what has been the angle or what has been the areas of focus that is paramount to you as the Transition Committee Chairman of Nnewi South local government? How have you been working with PGs and community leaders to implement this agenda?
Well, there is a model for this partnership which the governor introduced. And that model is simply PCPP.
Yeah.
PCPP. Public, community, private partnership. Public is government, because government must take the lead in every area of development. And then, of course, the communities will come in, private individuals will come in, and then this will form the partnership that we need and desire to build and develop the Anambra that we want. So in Nnewi South, we've been engaging constructively with all the communities. We have 10 communities in Nnewi South, and all the PGs in these communities are working in synergy with me. We have had strategic meetings over and over to think up ways that we can build up Nnewi South to make it livable and prosperous first. Because if we make Nnewi South livable and prosperous, Nnewi North, our neighbor, Ekusigo, and all the other communities or local governments around us become livable and prosperous, then we have achieved the vision of the governor for a whole Anambra to become livable and prosperous. So the synergy is there. We are working together and in partnership, and we have identified areas.
What are these areas?
Where we can work together to build up. Now, these areas, simply put, are in education, in health, in infrastructural development, okay? And then in the environment. Now, in education, we have targeted primary education. In communities, from the consultations I have made and from what I have seen so far, most of the primary schools, infrastructure in the communities in my local government were built by the communities and then handed over to government. These things happened in the past. But somehow, the communities took the backseat. And, what started happening became, a downward spiral, infrastructural decay. So we are beginning to raise the consciousness based on and, hinged on the PCPP model that the governor envisioned, to make our people realize that the infrastructure in their communities actually belong to them. This is where their children go to school. This is where the people who are resident in the communities go to school. And primary education is very important. It is at the formation stage of the children in the village. So there's every need to rebuild, remodel these primary schools to meet the standard of the 21st century. The world is moving ahead of us. Today we still have primary classes where you use leaves to darken the board. Meanwhile, people are beginning to teach with laptops. It is not so much to get good desks for these children. It is not so much to make their classes nice and beautiful. It is not so much to get whiteboards and give the teachers markers to teach with. It is not so much to install a borehole and build toilet facilities within the classrooms so that children needn't go outside to use the environment to ease themselves. We can have toilets within the classrooms so that the children can easily go there, ease themselves, and return back to class. We can make the classrooms very comfortable and convenient for learning. Moving from there to primary health care provision. The primary health care centers we have in our communities are the first call for anybody who is feeling sick in the villages. That is where you stop first, and if the case is such that they cannot handle, then they move to a hospital. Most women give birth in primary health care centers in our communities. So the idea is to again partner with communities to give our primary health care centers a facelift, bring them up to standard, put in equipment that, if you go in there, you will be able to take treatment from those primary health care centers. It is not going to be the other way around, where you are in the village and you're feeling sick and you're traveling all the way from the village to the urban area to look for a hospital. The primary health care center in your community should be able to respond first to your health situation, stabilize you, and if it's something they can't handle, then they move. And especially for the community dwellers, the rural dwellers, it should be able to give them that medical attention that they need. So we are discussing and synergizing and thinking of ways to make these primary healthcare centers, bring them up to standard and make sure that they give people quality and affordable health. Of course, the next is infrastructural development. All right? We have different models that we cite. Okay? Often, the model that is often cited is the Nene model.
Yeah.
All right? God bless his soul. The late
Dr. Anthony.
Yes, has done a lot in road infrastructure. And we are talking to our people. Let's borrow a leaf from this. Everything must not be left for government alone. That is why it is a partnership. You do some, government will do some, and everybody will be happy. That man had kilometers of road in his community. Why can't we do the same in Nnewi South? And I tell you of a truth, Nnewi South, the people of Nnewi South are already doing this. They have keyed into this vision, and they are doing it already. The Commissioner for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Community Affairs was in Afube village, Amici, last Christmas. To commission a road built by an indigene of the community, but resident in the USA. But he came all the way back to build that road. And people, it just opened up that entire area, because it was not just the road. He did the road with drainages, and then he installed street lights. People are also doing that in Osumeni, Unoto, and other communities. Unubi just informed me, the PG of Unubi, just informed me that someone is doing 3-point-something kilometers in his community.
That's a larger...
And this is what we are encouraging our people to do. So if they are doing internal roads and then government comes in to do a road that connects all, what are we talking about? We have the infrastructural development that we need, especially in roads. We want roads. And of course we'll have them. And of course the environment. One major key area. It is wide, but we are focusing on one, erosion control.
Okay. Or why is the focus on erosion control?
Because Anambra is the capital of erosion in the whole world. Sadly so. We're part of the smallest in Nigeria with Lagos. But narrative is that Lagos is expanding into the Atlantic while Anambra is shrinking because of erosion. And we are fighting to make sure that this stops. We are bringing back the old technology. I mean, when did erosion start here? You can think back. But somehow our fathers were able to control this. How? In every compound, 20, 30, 40 years back, there is always a small pit that water runs into. In every compound, in every homestead, you find such a pit. It is called Ome.
Yeah.
We are reintroducing this in the Nnewi South. I had a meeting with the PGs and I emphasized on this, because what we do these days is to, in almost every compound, you see interlocking stones from wall to wall. So what happens is that whenever there is rain, every water in the compound runs from the compound outside. Where does it go to? It is not the business of whoever built the house. He doesn't concern himself with where that water goes. But the water goes out of his compound, runs into the road, and keeps moving, causing a major problem somewhere. That is what causes erosion. So we are beginning to raise the consciousness that there is need to collect water, rainwater, in every compound. If you want to interlock. But let us have a green area, at least where water can soak into. Let us have a catchment pit where water can run into in every compound, so that it can contain at least the water that comes from compounds in every community, so that whatever remains on the road, we build drainages, and on some earth roads, catchment pits where the water can stop, instead of running down to cause a damage somewhere. Of course, we are thinking of other ideas on how we can control erosion and change the ones that are already there, gullies, to something that will be beneficial to the people. We are looking at, instead of covering up filling up the gullies, we can use the existing gullies to create a sort of artificial water settlement.
Okay.
One of the major problems we have is that we don't have points of termination for our drainages. Mind you, one of the major causes of erosion is poor termination of drainages. And now, when a drainage is not properly terminated and water flows in it, what happens at the end, where it is poorly terminated, is a gully. And where do you terminate drainages? If you channel drainages to a natural water body and water is being fed into a natural water settlement from that drainage, the likelihood that a gully will develop inside that natural water settlement is almost zero. So we are thinking of, okay, these gullies that we are created because of poor termination of drainages, we can use those gullies to create artificial water settlements where, of course, these drainages can be terminated into.
All right. I want to ask this question regarding your projects in the environment before we go for a short break. You mentioned the fact that you're looking at the kind of education system where you also build maybe toilets for students within their classrooms, which points me to the issue of ending open defecation.
Yes.
Is there anything your administration is doing in that regard?
Yes.
Okay.
That is what this partnership is all about. We are engaging our people. We are engaging leaders in the communities. Already, we have models. We have developed a model for these schools. We have pointed out schools that we will use to kick off, this project. And we have gotten our people who have identified with this project. They want to contribute to it. They're picking up schools as a whole. They're picking up classrooms. They're picking up school buildings. So in every school, you are seeing a stakeholder. At least we have Afube Central School in Amici has been marked for such. All right? And we are hoping that very soon the project will kick off.
Okay.
The remodeling of the school, it will kick off. We are identifying other places where we are going to use as model. At least we want to do one in every community. And the good news is that our people are keen into this project because many of them passed through these primary schools. And looking back to the schools where they graduated from at that level, they want to give back. They want to make it better. They want to make the rural schools as good and as comfortable and as convenient for learning as the schools in the urban areas, where the children go to school. They don't want to make the children who are in the villages and in the rural areas less competitive. They want to give them the tools that will make them competitive anywhere they go to. That is what we are doing at the moment.
All right. If you're just joining us, this is the weekend show on ABS Television. This morning we're looking at partnering communities for grassroots development, and we've been speaking to Honorable Ikenna Niaboso, the Transition Committee Chairman, Nnewi South Local Government Area. He's been with us here in the studio, telling us how he's ensuring that communities in his area are being are coming together to ensure that we have a better and improved life and standard of living at the grassroots levels. Let's take a short break here. When we come back, the discussion will continue right here in the studio.
Great news for Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS audience. You can now watch ABS television through any of these ways.
Buy a terrestrial antenna and connect to your television. Search ABS Channel 24 Orca or ABS Channel 27 Onitsha. Install StarTimes cable decoder and search ABS Channel 113. Install Metro Digital cable decoder and search ABS Channel 29.
Watch ABS TV on your smart TV or smartphone by downloading Anambra Broadcasting Service app on Google Play Store. Also watch via ABS Facebook page at ABS Radio Television and ABS YouTube page at ABS Television Orca.
ABS TV is now also on satellite. You can watch us from anywhere in Nigeria and other African countries. Simply install ViewSat TV decoder or any other free-to-air decoder and tune into channel 0031.
Whichever option you choose, stay abreast of breaking news, documentaries, children's shows, talk shows, comedy, sports, movies, and lots more on your darling TV station.
For adverts and program sponsorship, contact 0803 388 8526 or 0806 883 9902. ABS, Heartbeat of the East.
Yeah, welcome back to the program. It's still the weekend show, and we're looking at partnering communities for grassroots development. I still have with me here in the studio Honorable Ken Naniabo, so the Transition Committee Chairman of Nnewi South Local Government Area. Good morning and welcome again. Okay, let's get back to the discussion. You've talked about what you have in education, environment, infrastructural development, and also health. I want you to for us to go a little back to when you were appointed newly. At the point you were appointed, the challenges of insecurity was rife and very heavy in Nnewi South. We had the likes of Ukbo and several other places. What is the situation now? What has been the policy direction towards that level? At least I know that for some time we've not heard about any insecurity issue around Ukbo area as it used to be. So what has been done? What is being done at this moment?
Well, thank you so much for this question. It is important. The first duty and the priority of every government is the safety of lives and property. And we are thankful, the people of Nnewi South, to the governor, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, because he did not delay in bringing respite to not just the people of Nnewi South, but the entire people of Anambra South Senatorial Zone and in the Anambra in general. And I can tell you of a truth that the situation when he came in and when we assumed office is not the same as what we have today. There's a departure, an improvement in the security architecture of the local government and of the state as we speak today. There was a time when people could not sit together in Nnewi South. There was a time that people could not do business, that people could not go to market. You know, people were scared and afraid. But I speak to you today. People go to market. People move around. People travel to the villages and return. Yesterday I was in Nnewi South. I was in the secretariat of the local government. And this is simply because the governor prioritized the security and safety of the people and moved in such, let me use the word machinery to ensure that we recovered our homeland. That was the first statement he made. If I remember very well, he said, we must take back our homeland. And then he waved the olive branch to any who, is misbehaving. He said, look, return. We have made provisions for you to train you, to equip you with skills, and make you part of us again. And to all of those who accepted that olive branch, it's a different story today. We have the 1 year 2 skills going on. We have the solution, innovation hubs going on. And these are programs initiated to engage our youth so that we don't have idle minds in our communities. But without digressing, I can assure you that security has improved greatly in Nnewi South and in Anambra South. And we are not just, bringing that safety. We are also engaging the people because security is everybody's business. What the governor always says is, if you hear something, say something. It is a neighborhood watch. It involves everyone in the community. If there's someone who is dissident, who is, doing something illegal, selling illicit drugs, who is an armed robber, who is doing something that is not in line with the law, please say something. All you need is to provide information. And the security operatives will take over from there. This has worked in Anambra State. It has worked in Nnewi South. And the situation, like I mentioned earlier, has greatly improved. That we can now confidently go home and come back. People are moving around doing their lawful businesses. I can tell you that. This is not I heard. I experienced. I saw for myself. Okpo, the capital of Nnewi South. People say a lot of things. You hear a lot of things on the social media. But you are not there on ground to see. And I was there even yesterday. And the market is booming. Our football is booming. People are doing their lawful businesses, going about their private businesses without any issues. And we owe every gratitude to the governor, to his team, to the security operatives, and to the people of Nnewi South who have woken up and taken up the baton to take back their homeland. We can't run away from our place because of a few dissidents. All we tell our brothers is, look, this is our common heritage. We can't destroy it by ourselves. What we can do is to build it up. It is very easy to destroy, but very difficult to build. And you're seeing things that have taken years to build destroyed overnight. We should stop that. If we have issues that we need to address, let's sit down like men and address them. Have conversations that will address any concerns that we have. Recently, the governor made a bold statement requesting for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If this is what it is our problem, then the governor is working towards that. He requested for the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu, as the courts have said. But even if the federal government would not release him unconditionally and has given conditions, that he is also ready to meet those conditions and sign the necessary papers and keep Nnamdi Kanu in his custody. Anytime the government wants him, he will provide him. So if that is the basis on which these aggressors are doing what they are doing, I believe the governor is addressing that. So we are telling our brothers, please, let's come together and have a conversation. As in the Igbo, as in the Anambra, and build together, not to destroy.
All right. On this issue, you mentioned something that security is everyone's business. And you've talked at length about engaging PGs. How do you ensure, or what are the mechanisms you are using to ensure that people of Nnewi South or people in your area are buying into this message of owning government policies, government infrastructure in their areas? How are you ensuring that everyone that should be a partner in this project of building a livable and prosperous homeland are part of the project?
Well, it's all about having this conversation.
Okay.
Having the strategic meetings, talking to people, awakening their consciousness, reorientating them. We are doing that. We've had several meetings with the traditional institution, with the religious institution, with the PGs, of course, with the women bodies, with the youth organizations. It is a constant process, and we keep talking to our people. Of course, there are people in our communities that God has truly blessed, and we are engaging them seriously. The Akulueuno model is one that we are hinging on to, give that people that consciousness that whatever you have outside our community, when eventually at the end of the day you are returning back here. That is our tradition and custom. That is our way of life. We want to come back home. So let's make this home that we are coming back to livable and prosperous. If you have 100 outside, bring 10 home. If you have 1,000, bring 100 home. If you have industries, let's have one in the village. There are a few of them who are doing that already. We see the rate of development, not just in Awka capital city, in other places. We are doing that. People are buying into that. We are seeing investments coming home to Anambra State. And there is no other way of making this happen than by engaging the people, telling them, what people hear outside about security, they don't know the true picture until you tell them.
And that's very important, because when you speak to people outside, you think that this place is no longer...
Exactly.
Yeah, so I would just want to have your say on the issue of the general elections that are coming up. What would be your advice to the people watching us, especially when it comes to peaceful elections, peaceful conduct of the polls? We're having the presidential and national assembly elections on the 25th of February, and also the state assembly elections on March 11 for Anambra. What would be your message to Ndi Anambra as a whole, to Ndi Nnewi South, when it comes to ensuring that these elections are peaceful as expected?
Well, my message to Ndi Nnewi South and Ndi Anambra is simple. Let's conduct ourselves in such a manner that that will not bring about any reason for the breach of peace, law and order in this coming election. Of course, there are measures that have been put in place to limit anything that will bring about this kind of issues. Of course, beavers, they're there. You have your PVC, you go and vote, and you go home. The normal way of voting that brings about violence is no longer there. So you're not going to stuff any ballot paper with you're not going to do that anymore. You're not going to go and start writing figures anymore. As to your voting, it is being transmitted electronically. So technology has helped us in a way. The other way is for us ourselves to conduct ourselves in a good and in a good way that will, eschew and remove violence from what we are doing. Okay, so my message to our people is, have your PVC. If you don't have it, you don't have any business on the election day. You can't go and vote without your PVC. So far you have it. On election day, just go and vote and go home. Your vote will be transmitted electronically. There are people who have been given the assignment to monitor every other thing that is happening. You have party agents, coalition officers, and all of that who will monitor the process. Cast your vote and go home.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Ikenna Anyabo. So it's always an exciting moment having you here on the program. We've been speaking to Honorable Anyabo, so the Transition Committee Chairman, Nnewi South Local Government Area of Anambra State. He's been talking to us on how they are implementing the solution agenda at Nnewi South, as well as how communities are being harnessed to ensure that they work together to have that dream of a livable and prosperous homeland that we desire. Thank you once again for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, let's now take you over to our news studio for breakfast news at 8. Join us.